Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, y'all, this is very interesting. This is almost a true story, you know. I got a little teary-eyed a minute ago. A little teary-eyed. You know, I caught myself, so I was feeling I better do a video before it's all-out crying goes on. And it was about a little boxing, you know, and I was just reading an article, and it was about David Benavidez. And David Benavidez is, you know, a super middleweight fighter who's still undefeated. And he just can't get a fight with Canelo Alvarez, right? And, you know, stand in line with other people like Demetrius Andrade, Dimitri Bivol, David Morrell, Jamal Charlo, you know. And in that line is, well, who's who among boxers. All of them are good. And then you look in the other lines of people Canelo will fight, right? You know, and we don't need to talk about that line. But those guys that he's fighting are just very less accomplished. But they don't get asked who they fought, what they've achieved, or anything like that. You know, do they deserve the fight? Nothing. And then this other line with the David Morrells, the David Benavidez, the Demetrius Andrades, and the Dimitri Bivols. You got championships. You got mandatory status. You know, all those things that you need. You got bringing the most money that you ever would get to the table. Undisputed titles. What else can you bring? All of those guys bring something. And they bring a lot of talent. But that's what to their detriment. So, but here's what happens, you know. Here's the thing that just happened. I'm reading an article. And Dave Benavidez, we all know Dave Benavidez is the guy in the super middleweight division who, you know, was at least over 2 years the mandatory challenger for Canelo Alvarez. Now, granted, nobody's suing the sanctioning bodies for just cheating, right? Get out of the way then. You shouldn't be a sanctioning body. If someone's a mandatory challenger, then there's rules and regulations, but they just don't apply to Canelo. So Canelo's able to just tell this guy he ain't fighting him or ask for a ridiculous amount of money, $200 million to fight him. You know, just stupid things. And none of these things that Canelo says is embarrassing. You know, like, hey, I'm going to call a great fighter like Demetrius Andrade horrible. I'm going to call him horrible. Hey, I'm going to try to fight Mukabu at the cruiserweight division. Hey, I'm not going to fight Dave Benavidez because, man, he rehydrates. He could be 20 pounds heavier than me, right? But I want to fight Mukabu in the 2 divisions higher. You know, just, you know, stuff that's obvious like, dude, man, you're not embarrassed to say this? No. Because people out there are despicable. And they will let him get away with this. And all of the reasons to let him get away with this are despicable reasons. So it's not going to listen to me because look how I look. You know, they see that and they cannot focus on, damn, is this guy saying anything wrong? Why isn't Canelo fighting his mandatory challengers? Aren't we all, everyone, want the fighters to fight their mandatory challengers as at some point? The fights that he's fighting are not more lucrative, hell not competitive. So why are we watching sports with fights we know who are already going to win? That's not sport anymore. That's the WWE. You understand? That's not sport. So we're dealing with that. But back to David Benavidez. Now, Dave Benavidez has been the mandatory challenger, beat even my boy, Demetrius Andrade, who moved up to fight him. And that was somebody Canelo I just ain't never going to fight because he knew he was going to get outclassed. So Dave Benavidez even beat him, right? Again, lineal champion in the super middleweight division, you know, and Canelo's mandatory. The belt that Dave Benavidez had, because he did lose the belt on the scales, was given to Canelo. Canelo didn't even have to fight for it. Canelo fought Callum Smith for the WBA title. Do you know WBC just put that title in there, just on the line, instead of saying, hey, no, you got to fight for it. So Canelo is, what is he? Undisputed at 168 pounds. Well, not anymore, but he was. But he never fought for the WBC title. No one mentions that. No one. It's almost like Teofimo Lopez's franchise title that people try to just say, okay, he's an undisputed champion. You know, these shortcuts for undisputed. So this is what happened. We're going to give Canelo that belt. Anyway, Dave Benavidez couldn't get this fight this whole time. So he moves up to fight at 175 pounds. Fights Wojcik. right? Vorchik has only been beat by Benavidez, the baddest one up there, right? And a good fight. Vorchik's pretty good because he's from Ukraine. And y'all know Ukraine bring the pain. Ukraine got some good fighters. So, and Dave Benavidez had a broke hand or hurt hand against Vorchik and wins. Wins most of the rounds. And people say that he doesn't look like, the guy he looked like at 168 pounds. He's not being able to weight bully. He's fighting bigger guys. And he doesn't look the same. And I'm like, I don't give a damn how he look. If you beat Vorchik, I don't care how you beat Vorchik. Vorchik's top 5 cruiserweight even after that long layoff. Light heavyweight. After that long layoff. And Dave Benavidez went up there and beat him. Because I wasn't sure. Because I know Vorchik. I had Vorchik. I can remember I used to have Vorchik number 2 behind Benavidez and before Bivol. I was a damn fool. Because Bivol is all that in a bag of chips. But, that's how good Vorchik is. He's in that realm. And so Dave Benavidez beat him, and I don't give a damn how. He went up to weight and beat him. So he goes up there, and now he's the mandatory challenger for the Benavidez versus Bivol winner. Do you know that Dave Benavidez right now is saying, this is where it becomes a tearjerker for people that are kind of like into justice. This man is like, well, you know what? Maybe if I can go ahead and I beat the winner of Bivol and Benavidez, and then I make a catch weight, because Canelo don't want to really come up here anymore. So then maybe I can beat them. And then I got the belts, right? I got to ignore the rematch clause and all that, but whatever. I get the belts. I can go down and meet Canelo at some kind of catch weight. That'll make him happy. Then maybe I can get the fight before Terrence Crawford, which is also another little dude, but he's so awesome that Canelo don't want none of him neither. But think about that. That's made me sad. I was like, man, look at this. This poor dude got to think, I got to go beat. First of all, I got to beat the Benavidez Bivol winner. Okay, first of all, because that ain't happening. First of all. But this is what he thinks he has to do to fight Canelo. Because he knows justice ain't going to do it. Being the mandatory challenger didn't do it. I ain't going to sue the sanctioning bodies. Who the hell knows why? No one ever gets sued. You have to take this to an arbitrary court where people are saying, wait a minute. Is the rule that mandatories get a shot or not? Okay? All this, some dudes is over the law stuff. I don't know, man. In America, we the first country talking about we don't want a king or queens, but that's a damn lie. We always anoint somebody above the law. Oh, constantly. The rules and regulations are for minorities and people that ain't got money. That's what they made the laws for. As soon as you got some money and you ain't a minority, nobody cares if you commit crime. Because they get cool names for the crime, too. They'll call it white-collar crime on you or something. Listen, mandatories are mandatories. But this poor guy who's done everything to get a fight thinks he has to do something astronomical. Like, if I beat the Benavidez Bivol winner and then I come down to a catchweight and fight Canelo, then he'll finally fight me. And it's like, dude, haven't you realized he will fight you if you lose 3 or 4 fights in a row? What are the other ones doing to garner a fight? Their key is not being a danger. That's the key. And I don't know better be of how you can do. You better go to Hollywood and get some acting on and act like you can't fight no more. Right? If you can act like you can't fight no more, then maybe. But as long as you're a danger, you're not getting the fight with Canelo. Because who has gotten the fight with Canelo that was a danger for him since Golovkin won? No, Golovkin 2. There's Canelo winning. Maybe Plant, but the Plant is a feather-fisted enough to where Canelo was like, well, at some point, if he ain't going to knock me out, and if I get to the last bell, I'm winning anyway. Last time he lost something, it was Bivol. And listen, look at the scorecards for him and Bivol. That was way too close. Bivol beat the living daylights out of him. Right? And that was still a close card. So Canelo acted mad that Bivol won that. He was like, wait a minute, I'm standing up after this fight. I'm supposed to win every fight I'm standing up at the end of. Right? So, at the end of the day, it's very, very sad. And I caught myself, man. I was really getting teared up to see what this man has to think that he has to do to garner a Canelo Alvarez fight. Because becoming the mandatory, becoming the guy that everybody wants Canelo to fight, none of that works. You just have to be a buster. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. It's sad. And I'm up out of here, y'all.